Ever wonder what really makes a React app, well, react? What's the magic that turns a dead web page into something you can actually interact with? Well, it all boils down to one thing: state management. And today we're going to dive deep into what makes it the absolute soul of any React app.
You know, it's not for nothing that folks like Jack Harrington call it the beating heart. Seriously, think about it. State is literally the engine. It's what makes everything tick and feel alive. Without it, you've just got a static, lifeless page. It's the difference between a photograph and a movie.
I mean, really think about it. A React app is just kind of sitting there, totally dormant, until its state changes. You click a button to add something to your card, or you log in. Bam! That's a state change. That's the signal, the trigger that wakes React up and tells it, hey, time to get to work and update what the user sees.
Okay, so where do we all begin this whole state management journey? It's always with local state, and that means the very first hook every single one of us learns: use state. It looks super simple, right? But trust me, it's got a few surprises waiting for you.
Oh, you know this one. I bet this has happened to every single person watching. You're trying to update an array, you do an array.push, you pop open the console, and yep, the new item is there, but on your screen, nothing. It's like React is just completely ignoring you. So, what gives?
Okay, so here's the secret. React is, well, it's kind of lazy. It works by checking references. If you just push a new item into the same array, React looks at it and goes, hey, the address of this array hasn't changed. It's the same thing to me, so no re-render. To get its attention, you have to basically hand it a brand new array. And that's exactly what we're doing here with the spread operator, creating a fresh copy with the new item inside.
All right, you've got the basics down. Awesome. But then your component starts to grow. Suddenly you've got a form. You need state for the name, the email, the password. Maybe another one for is submitting, another for error messages. Before you know it, you've got 5, 6, 7 use state calls, and it just feels like you're juggling flaming torches, right?
And that is exactly why we have useReducer. It's the hero that comes in to tame that chaos. Think of it like Redux's little brother, built right into React. Instead of juggling all those set functions, you just dispatch one single action. It's like sending a message that says, hey, the user updated their name. Then, one central place, your reducer, takes that message and figures out how to update the state. It keeps your component so much cleaner.
Okay, so we've got a handle on local state. But what happens next? Your app gets bigger, and with size come growing pains. You start noticing things feel a little sluggish, or you need to start talking to outside APIs. This is where we get into the really fun stuff: performance and side effects.
For performance, it's all about being smart with memory. I love this notepad analogy for useMemo. If you're doing some really heavy math, useMemo jots down the answers so you don't have to do the work over and over again on every single render. And useCallback? It's similar but for functions. It remembers the function itself, which is super important to stop child components from re-rendering when they don't need to. Quick warning though, don't go crazy with these. Using them for simple stuff is just overkill.
Okay, real talk. Let's see a show of hands. Who here has accidentally created an infinite loop with useEffect? Come on, be honest. We've all done it. That hook is unbelievably powerful, but man, if you're not careful, it will turn on you. It's a real foot gun.
And here's how that trap gets sprung every single time. Step 1, you fetch some data inside useEffect. Step 2, you use that data to update your state. Step 3, that state update, of course, triggers a re-render. And step 4, the component re-renders, which runs your useEffect all over again. And around we go. It's the classic infinite loop, and it almost always happens because you forgot that all-important dependency array.
All right, let's tackle another huge headache every React dev faces. You've got some piece of data way up at the top of your app, and you need it in a component that's buried like 5 levels deep. We call this prop drilling, and honestly, it's just the worst.
So here we go. The journey begins. You've got your data. Let's say it's the current user's profile at the very top of your component tree. So you pass it down as a prop to the first child. And this component, it doesn't even care about the user profile. It has no use for it, but it has to accept the prop anyway, just so it can act as a middleman and pass it down again to its child.
And finally, after passing through who knows how many layers, the data gets to where it was actually needed in the first place. It's not just annoying, it's terrible for your code. It makes everything super brittle. I mean, come on, there's gotta be a better way, right?
And of course there is. Enter the Context API. I love this description. It's React's built-in teleportation device.
Instead of drilling, you just wrap your app in what's called a provider, you put your data in there, and that's it. Any component, no matter how deep it is, can just reach up and grab that data directly. It's an absolute game changer for stuff like user info or app-wide themes.
Okay, let's switch gears. We need to talk about a very special kind of state, server state. This is the data that doesn't live in your app. It lives on a server somewhere. And let me ask you a question. Are you still trying to manage all the fetching, loading indicators, and error messages for that data all by yourself?
Yeah, there's a reason this advice is so blunt. Pretty much every expert out there, from Pedro Tech to Jack Harrington, is saying the same thing. Trying to use UseEffect to fetch data and manually keep track of whether it's loading or if there was an error, that's just the old way. It's time to move on.
The modern way is to use a dedicated library for this, and the king is React Query, now called TanStack Query. This tool is amazing because it makes you realize that server state and client state are two totally different things. It just handles everything for you. Caching, loading spinners, error messages, even refetching data in the background. Seriously, it will change your life.
And that brings us to the final boss of state management, global state. What happens when you have a piece of information that literally every part of your app needs to know about, and maybe even change? Well, for that, you need to bring in the heavy hitters, the global state giants.
So let's look at the two big players. In one corner, you've got Redux. It's the OG, the grandfather of global state. It's incredibly powerful, battle-tested, but let's be real, it involves a ton of boilerplate code. In the other corner, you have the new fan favorite, ZooStand. It's the complete opposite. It's minimalist, it's simple, you don't even need a provider. It just works. It's pretty incredible.
Okay, I know that was a lot of options. So how do you choose? Well, here's the golden rule, the simple hierarchy you should follow. Number 1, always start simple. Use useState or useReducer for state that lives inside one component. Number 2, if the data comes from an API, don't even think about it. Just use React Query. And number 3, and this is the important part, only go global as a last resort. When things are a total mess and you have no other choice, then you can reach for Context or ZooStand.
So you see, state management isn't just some boring technical detail. It's what gives your app a pulse. It's that beating heart that we talked about, the thing that turns a static document into a living, breathing experience. So now that you know the tools of the trade, there's really only one question left to ask. What are you going to build?